Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome to another flight in the Horizon Boeing 787. Today we are going to try the brand new physics mod available on flightsim.to. I'm saying brand new, it's actually 2 months old, but one of you guys actually pointed me to it. I didn't know it existed before. And yeah, this is what it looks like down here. Absolutely something that is pretty interesting. So today we are going to fly it. There isn't like any complete description of all the changes done, but I'm really interested in how this is going to proceed, as you guys in the audience seem to have been pretty happy with it. So, today we are going to take the Horizon 787 with this physics mod from Montreal to Toulouse. It's always fun flying competitors' aircraft into the home base of one of the largest airplane manufacturers in the world, isn't it? We have been to Seattle a couple times with the Airbus, so now it's time to fly to Toulouse with the Boeing. And of course we are doing this on a real-world route, which is the Air Canada Flight 878. Just take that, Boeing. Well, take that, Airbus. Okay, now let's go ahead and start with a quick view of our flight plan before we are eventually going to get right into the setup of our flight. Now, as always, we will be using the Simri flight plan, and we will be viewing it through Mozilla Firefox, which is kind of my standard setup over here. Alright then, I'd say we're not going to lose any more time, and we will simply get straight into the preparation for today's night flight from Montreal over to Toulouse. So this is what our route of... oh, hello there, that must have been a couple of aircraft spawning. So, this is what our route of flight looks like, departing from Montreal, and then we're heading somewhat across the Nats over here. Let's see whether we can get that clearance or not, and then down southbound into Toulouse. The significant weather chart for the first half of our flight is actually looking quite good, just crossing this area over there, which is area number 2, moderate turbulence up to level 400, and then the other part of the flight is pretty clear, so except for some occasional turbulence, I do not expect any problems here. Weather-wise, we are pretty much completely fine departing Montreal, and then Toulouse is forecast quite good as well, with variable winds and, well, overall beautiful weather. Our alternate in Bordeaux is actually looking pretty fantastic from its TAF also for tomorrow morning, so I'm really happy with that. Now going into our flight plan, we're departing at 23:20 UTC, and we are going to arrive just about on time in Toulouse. We are not critical with any of our weights, starting at level 370, later on climbing to level 390. And, well, then down to 290 for a short part in France. So with all of that in mind, looking into the flight plan over here, 39.4 plus taxi fuel. Now, since we are planned in such an interesting way across the North Atlantic tracks, I'm kinda expecting that we may not get the cleared level or get quite the rerouting. Therefore, I'm actually going to take a full half an hour extra, so half an hour is approximately 2,000 kilos, so we're at 40 tons basically, plus 2,000, giving us 42 tons, and I think that should kind of keep us on... the safe side here. Now, we know that the Horizon 787 burns a bit more fuel than the aircraft is supposed to, so let's add another ton. So let's do 43 just to be on the safe side over here. So 43 tons of fuel it is, and with that we can now take a seat in the cockpit of our Boeing 787 and start to prepare for the flight. In terms of sceneries, we are using MK Studios for our departure from Montreal, and then Flightbeam for our arrival in Toulouse. Now, getting into the aircraft, starting with the safety items over here. Number 1, as always, IRS going on. And then we got an oil quantity that's sufficient for the flight. The hydraulic quantity is sufficient for the flight. Let me go ahead and do a recall and track all the items over here. We're basically looking for something that would be out of the ordinary, but for this current state over here, this is actually all looking quite good. Okay, then let's go ahead and log into our data link system We do want an ATIS request for Charlie Yankee Uniform Lima, please. Departure ATIS sent. And while we're waiting for that to arrive, let's just quickly go through the flight deck over here, turn on a couple of those lights, because, well, it's just getting late over here. The sun is about to set for our departure, so just want to be on the safe side there, and already have those lights on. So, click spots blocking one another. Here we go, that's what I've been looking for. You can also go up, down there, and then on this side. Let's have a look over here, and that kind of lighting is coming up. That floodlight is, well, not required just yet, but you get the idea. Let's already get all of that stuff on. Okay, why can't I operate the floodlight here? Here we go, that's what I've been looking for. Okay, fantastic, so that's our lighting setup done. Then, ATIS is apparently not available. Well, I don't quite agree with that. I'm fairly sure it will be available. Charlie Yankee Uniform Lima. Sometimes you need to select the en route ATIS rather than the departure ATIS. That's especially if there is no split ATIS. So if you don't have a dedicated departure and arrival ATIS. See? Here we go. Here it's working. So we have information delta, and that's runway 24 left and right, wind calm, visibility 10, temperature 14, altimeter 3018. So let's go ahead and set that up, 3018. And unfortunately down here we can't switch it over, so that equals 1022. So let's dial up 1022 like this, and that's all I need. Okay, lovely. Then we have our ATIS on board, so with that, we can go right down into our setup. Now, whoopsie. Starting over here on the item page, it's a 787-9 with a GEnx engine. The nav database is up to date. Then let's straight away go down into the settings and weight and balance, and we are going to set our weights according to our operational flight plan. Like this, and for the fuel we said we wanted 43 tons, like this, and here we go. Okay, fantastic. So with that done, we can continue with our setup, and while that's in progress, let's call for GSX to start our boarding, please. Ah, hidden here, okay. So, request boarding. Okay then, route request, let's go. And I think that is an old flight plan. Let's just make sure we got the latest, because, yeah, now we also have the right format. So, load the route uplink, and then we go from Charlie Yankee Uniform Lima to Lima Fox Bravo Oscar, Air Canada 878. Our departure, probably runway 24 right, and our arrival is at the moment planned with an ILS Zulu approach runway 32 right in Bordeaux via the Séché 8 November arrival, which is this one, and the arrival ends at Sully. So let's take the Sully transition. Execute. Then let's go ahead and have a look. Now I am going to use the Navigraph chart app here just because that's a bit easier. Montreal 5 departure. Let's see what we got there. Straight ahead, climbing 5,000. Okay, so that's all in there. Then for the FMC comms, let's go ahead and request the wind data, and then we can also request, okay, forecast winds are requested automatically, perfect, and load. Alright, so interesting, we don't seem to need to execute this. I'm fairly sure in the real airplane we would. Okay, so load and load. We got 3,266 nautical miles in there versus 3,276 nautical miles in there. Then Charlie Yankee Uniform Lima with a 25-mile ring for MSA awareness. Transition altitude 18,000 is correct according to the chart, and then for our performance initialization we have exactly 5 tons of reserve fuel. Zero fuel weight is 163. 2, cruise level 370, cost index 25. Okay, cruise CG we are going to use 30, step size 2000. And then on to the takeoff page. Down here we are going to use 1000 for acceleration, 1500 for thrust reduction, and the rest is basically looking good. Wind calm. Okay, I don't care. Let's just not enter it then. Then I'm just gonna keep that stuff blank. Alright, fantastic. Then the only thing that's left is to check the North Atlantic waypoint. Normally I would copy and paste these into the ident page, but you can see that for some reason this isn't working with custom waypoints, so yeah. We'll just assume, or we'll just have to assume that those are actually correct. But let's check them nonetheless. So we got 4550, that's checked. Then we have 4640, checked. 47.530. And yeah, this is rounded, this is incorrect, but you know. Okay, and then we have 4820 and umlaut, and that's all looking okay. Alright then, for the time being, that's everything we need to do down here and up here. So then let's continue with our flight deck setup. So, going down from up here, everything's good. Over here, that stuff is all good. Over here, everything is good, and over here, everything is good. Lights are set as required. And we want terrain, and actually we don't want terrain, but we do want traffic. And what we also want are the airports, please. And we'll do that on both sides. Alright, flight director's on, auto throttle arm switch is on, and then we can move down, auto brake into RTO. Frequencies. Let's already go over the night mode here, because the sun will be setting soon. Okay, Montreal clearance, 125.6, probably won't need that. Ground west, 1210, we'll definitely need that. So, 121.0 is gonna go active, and tower, most likely 19.3. Like this, then we got 121.5 as emergency frequency, and we can switch that active. And we have an ATIS on 133.7, which I am just going to tune into the standby down here. And then, I don't know, I would probably keep 1219 for the third radio. Or 12345 is normally quite good as well. So something like that. Okay, the squawk machine gets 2000 and standby like that. It's supposed to be off right now. Listen to VHF 1 and 2, and that's transponder down here, VHF over there, and then we have basically finished our setup. Fuel in center is copied. Let's get rid of all of that stuff. Okay, lovely. So with all that setup done, let's go ahead and request our IFR clearance. So we have information Delta on board. So departure clearance, information Delta, ATC facility, Charlie, Yankee, Uniform, Lima, and our gate is 68. We're a French-speaking part of Canada, so how about we tell them bonjour. Okay, IFR clearance request is out from Montreal to Toulouse, and then I think we have pretty much finished the setup as far as we need to do it so far. So let's go ahead and get right into the departure briefing, please. So we are going to depart from Montreal's runway 24 right, and it is going to be a radar vectored departure. Initial climb probably 5,000. We'll have to see about what ATC is going to give us. The MSA is 3,000 feet, and in the tanks we have 3,000 kilos extra, which equals roughly Well, which equals roughly 45 minutes on the 787. Okay. Clearance being processed, stand by, roger, thank you. Alright, so for our taxi out, we've got no hotspots, and the stop margin for rejected takeoff is going to be a couple hundred meters. Engine out sits straight at 25 miles, climbing 3000, and if we need to make an immediate return, then both runways are available for us. In terms of our maximum landing weight, that's around 10 tons below our expected takeoff weight, make that 13 tons with the extra fuel. So I'm expecting a little overweight in case of an immediate return, but not too much of a problem there. Overweight landing procedure if required. For anything that is not immediately life-threatening, though, I am going to go straight ahead into the holding 3000 and then work all the checklists and procedures, and only for an unextinguishable fire or anything that is immediately life-threatening, we are just going to fly traffic pattern, come back and put it down on either 24 left or 24 right. Now, I've got nothing special for today's departure, I have nothing non-standard for today's departure, and I do not see any threats either. Anything from you? No? Alright, then that's our departure briefing completed. So, that's our clearance. Cleared to Toulouse, maintain 5,000 feet, departure on 134.15. I'm just gonna put that down here as a reminder. Okay, squawk 4573, expect runway 24 right. So in here we have runway 24 right, and then the squawk is 4573. Okay, like this. Perfect, then our clearance is on board and we are done with all that good stuff. So let's see how the boarding is progressing. Finished. I like it. Prepare for pushback and departure, please. And then let's say hello to our guests. Ladies and gentlemen, bonjour from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel. In the name of Air Canada, I would like to welcome you all on board our Boeing 787-9 on our flight to Toulouse. We're expecting a flight time of 6 hours and 40 minutes this night, and we are looking at a mostly smooth cruise with an on-time arrival. We're just finishing up the last paperwork. When that is complete, we will start our pushback and taxi out runway 24 right with a departure to the east directly to our destination. Thank you very much for being our guests. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And if there is anything we can do for you to make it more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew members. Thank you very much for your attention, and once again, welcome aboard of our Boeing 787. Alright. So, let's go right down here and start our setup. So we no longer need this. We do need the ATIS, and that's wind calm. So we got Montreal 24 right, the runway is, of course, dry, the wind is calm, and the temperature, yeah, wind 0, simple as that. Okay, and the temperature is 14 degrees. Alright, 1022-3018 is checked. So, thrust rating optimum, flaps optimum, anti-ice off, improved climb is not necessary, and then we can calculate that stuff. D takeoff 2, 48 degrees. So, down in the box, the takeoff weight is set, so D takeoff 2 at, what did we say, 48. Alright, and that's 83.2. Well, 59.2 is definitely incorrect. We'll disregard that. For the takeoff, flaps 5, CG 25, and 53, 57, 64. And that is all checked against the OPT as well. Okay, fantastic. 5.7 units trim, and with that our things are done. So, pre-flight checklist, and that's the pre-flight checklist complete. Well, let's actually do it over here, that's easier. So, Then we have that stuff, so let's go ahead and start the APU. This time I'm not going to forget about it. Okay, 4 minutes to our planned off-block time. I'd say we are running pretty good here. So, ground from cockpits. Please confirm that all the doors and hatches are closed, the ground power remains connected, apart from that all the other ground equipment is removed, and that all the doors are closed, ready to go. Okay, that's all confirmed. Roger, can we pressurize hydraulics? Yes, Captain, clear to pressurize. Thank you. So, runway 24. Like this, and we're climbing to 5,000. Okay, pumps are all coming on. Then we got 5.75. Like that, and squawk machine on. Okay, before start checklist. And let's see, APU is on bus. So, passenger signs on MCP, V2 164, heading 235, altitude 5000. Takeoff speeds V1 153, VR 157, V2 164. CDU pre-flight completed, taxi and takeoff briefing completed. And then we're holding at the beacon, so let's go ahead and grab that pushback clearance, please. 1210, is that correct? Yes, it is. Montreal ground, Air Canada 878, request pushback and startup, gate 68.
Air Canada 878, push and start approved, face north.
Push and start approved, facing north, Air Canada 878. Okay, before start checklist complete. So, ground from cockpit. Pushback and startup approved, facing north, park and brake set. Roger that, release park and brake. So that's going to be nose left. Here we go, park and brake is released, you're clear to start the pushback, and we're standing by for your signal to start the engines. Alright, doors are all armed. And here we go, guys. Oh.
Cabin attendants
VNAV should have been armed. No LNAV.
Welcome aboard Air Canada Flight 878, departing for Toulouse.
Oh yeah, that's a French cabin crew.
The estimated flight time is approximately 6 hours and 45 minutes. Please pay close attention to the upcoming safety demonstration, as it contains important information, even for our frequent flyers. Fasten your seatbelts by inserting the metal tip into the buckle and pulling the strap to tighten. The seatbelt must remain fastened whenever the seatbelt sign is illuminated. Please return your seatbelts.
Alright, so where are they actually pushing us?
Window blinds are opened for takeoff. Mobile phones and electronic devices must be set to flight mode, and larger devices should be securely stored.
Looks like roughly
during
here.
takeoff and landing.
Okay then, ready for engine start.
Cigarettes are prohibited anywhere on board.
Lima November Juliet, contact tower
Starting engines.
119.3.
And pushback completed, set brakes.
Over to tower, Lima November Juliet.
Park and brake set.
Place it over your nose and mouth and breathe normally. Secure your own mask before assisting others. Life vests are located under your seat or between seats. Put it on, fasten it, and inflate only after leaving the aircraft. Floor level lighting will guide you to the nearest exit, which is clearly marked. There are 6 exits on this aircraft, 2 at the front, 2 over the wings, and 2 at the rear. The nearest exit may be behind you. In case of evacuation, leave all personal belongings behind and follow the cruise instructions immediately.
So that looks like 2 good engine starts. Then you're clear to disconnect, show me the pin on the right side please, and have a wonderful day, bye bye.
Show signs of damage. Please inform a crew member immediately.
Okay, there's the tuck, there's a tow bar.
Contains all details. Thank you for your attention.
And here's 2 good starts. Cabin temperature. Why is that? It's looking okay, isn't it? Well, I guess the moment the packs are coming back on, that's going to solve itself. And TCAS is checked and expected. Okay, flight control track. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. And neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. And neutral. Okay. No, that's the wrong button. ND, ND. Checklist, that's what we're looking for. So, before taxi checklist. Anti-ice, off, ecom, recall. I want to right back in the Airbus. So, recall is checked, flight controls checked, ground clear, APU off, before taxi checklist complete. Air Canada 878, request taxi.
Air Canada 878, runway 24 right taxi via East Taxiway, North Apron, Bravo 4, Bravo.
Air Canada 878, taxi via the East Taxiway, Apron North, Bravo 4 and Bravo to runway 24 right. Okay, East is here. So, East is here, then Apron North, gonna be that one, on a Bravo. The only question, where's Bravo? Here. Alright, so we continue Bravo, all the way to 2 far right. So, East, Apron North, Bravo. Okay, taxi routing is understood. Clear on the left side, clear on the right side. Let's go. Cabin temperature is still there. Interesting. Well, we'll be monitoring that during taxi. That's not fixing itself, might have returned to the ramp, but I'm fairly sure it will. Max off then on again. That would be the Airbus way of fixing it. So my assumption on that message is that it's because the cabin temperatures are too far away from the target temperature. But as mentioned, just an assumption here. Okay, so we'll be going to the right over here and then left, and that is not Bravo. Let's actually stop here for a second. We're going straight. It's going to be Bravo to the right. Echo is that one. Okay, then it has to be left. That's Bravo 6. It's that one. Is Bravo missing in our scenery?
Air Canada 311 ready to push.
Am I stupid?
Air Canada 311, pushback approved.
Yeah. Look at that. That's looking different. That part seems to be new. Okay, so we got to right, left, right. Yeah, guys, do tell me in the comments. Am I too stupid to read a taxi chart over here? Not doubting it, but... Okay, and look at that, now the cabin temperature warning has gone away. Excellent. The TCAS message will go away anyway, and then we've got nothing in the recon any longer.
Runway 24 left taxi via Lima Romeo Alpha Alpha 5.
Runway 24 left taxi via Lima Romeo Alpha Alpha.
Okay, the left side is clear. Okay, so straight ahead over here and then right turn onto Bravo and then we got it. So yeah, it looks like the layout may really be a little different here. Okay, this isn't a very tight turn, so we can take it at a little higher speed. And then we're in Bravo all the way to the full length. Okay, so I got nothing new for the briefing. Everything's right as we briefed it. So, weather on my side, terrain on yours, and before takeoff checklist. Before takeoff checklist complete. Okay, and here's 30 knots. So, all the way to the full length, and it looks like it's going to be a really beautiful evening departure over here. Just into the sunset. Look at how the colors are spreading across the flight deck already. I'm looking forward to this flight. We'll see a sunset, we'll see a sunrise, and then we'll be landing in Toulouse and park that 787 right in front of Airbus's offices. Okay. So let's do a very quick review of the takeoff briefing. It's a left seat takeoff, runway 24 right, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2. We'll depart on the heading with an MSA of 3,000 feet, and our takeoff is slightly overweight, so we can return to runway both 24 left or 24 right. Slightly overweight, absolutely possible to make an immediate return should it be required. Yeah, apart from that, I have nothing special, nothing non-standard here, and I do not see any threats. Takeoff speeds are 53, 57, 64, and we are derated, so we can increase that as necessary. Okay. Fantastic, then we're pretty much ready for departure. And almost at the holding point as well. Just gotta love those colors, huh? I really do like that new Air Canada livery quite a bit better than that toothpaste livery. Yeah, I guess it kind of reminds me of the old Air Canada livery, which I really liked. But I like the black.
Air Canada 878, contact tower on 119.3 so long.
119.3, Air Canada 878, so long. Montreal Tower, Air Canada 878, ready for departure.
Air Canada 878 heavy, Montreal Tower. Hold short of runway 24 right, A319 1 mile final.
Holding short 24 right, Air Canada 878. Must be the guy who's on the runway already. Otherwise, 1 mile final would definitely not work out. Okay, 33.7 is pre-selected for our departure frequency, and with that we are basically ready to go. So just waiting for that gentleman to vacate. Let's take a quick look with our TCAS. Nobody on final. Great. So as soon as the guy is off, we're going to get our takeoff clearance. TCAS off is checked. Okay. Was the guy vacating? Not yet, huh? Rolling all the way to the end, trying to save some taxi time. It's just our...
Charlie Papa Zulu, hold short of runway 24 left.
It's just our arrival time that's getting delayed for that. But we're actually still running quite well. Schedule...
729er contact ground on 121.0.
Schedule's tight.
Ground, Rouge 1729er.
But if we go airborne on 35, we'll be there on time. So that should be pretty much what we will actually be doing now. And he seems to be off. Air Canada 878 Heavy is ready for departure.
Air Canada 878 Heavy, runway 24 right, line up and wait.
Runway 24 right, line up and wait, Air Canada 878 Heavy. Okay, cabin crew, prepare for departure.
Air Canada 878 Heavy, runway 24 right, winds 360 at 3, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 24 right, cleared for takeoff, Air Canada 878 Heavy. Okay, so checklists are complete, and we are done with everything.
Approaching
Are you ready?
4 right.
Well, you're not even there, so I'll just assume that that's a yes. Okay, so let's see how that physics mod is gonna fly. I think we can still disregard the heads-up display though. I haven't tried it at all before starting the recording, so what you are going to see is going to be my first impression over here. Okay, yes, too far right. Ready?
On runway 24 right.
Take off. Stabilized. Set takeoff thrust.
Charlie Papa Zulu, hold short of runway 24 left. Holding short of runway 24 left, Charlie Papa Zulu.
Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. $80 knots, checked. V1, rotate. Okay, smooth rotation. Positive climb, gear up. So,
Charlie Papa Zulu, cross runway 24 left.
heading select.
Crossing 24 left, Charlie Papa Zulu.
Okay, so far so smooth. Then reaching acceleration altitude. Over to departure, Canada 878.
Departing runways 24 left, 24 right.
Oh, that's Natus. That's not departure. Okay. Looks like we have to look it up.
Air Canada 878, climb altitude 5,000.
Climb to 5,000 and over to departure now at Canada 878. Come on, cancel that. God damn it. 13415. Montreal departure, Canada 878 Heavy, passing 2,500, climbing 5,000 on the runway heading. Okay then, let's start the acceleration.
Air Canada 878 Heavy, Montreal departure, radar contact. Climb flight level 210, clear direct success.
Climb level 210, direct success, Canada 878. Set, 210 checked. Okay, direct to success. Execute, LNAV available, LNAV. Okay, so, flaps 1, speed checked. Flaps 1, disregard that, that's a known bug. Not really accelerating, is it? I'm trying to follow the flight director as good as possible here. Okay, flaps up. Speed checked, flaps up. Okay, quite a change in lift from the flaps. And here we go, flaps are up, no lights. After takeoff checklist. Yeah, disregard that stuff. Checklist override. And after takeoff checklist complete. Doing too many things at once here, that's why I've got a pilot monitoring. Okay, so let's try and get that aircraft in trim. So the 787 should fly pretty much the same way that a 777 flies. You stabilize the aircraft, and once you're on the trim speed, you simply let go of the controls.
Just informing you that we had an aircraft near your position. Report light turbulence from flight level 6000 to flight level 2000 about 18 minutes ago.
Roger, we're not intending to enter the Houston control area. Artemis can stay the guys who went furthest from Earth. Flight level 2000. Nope. Not gonna get up there. That would be 200,000 feet. Okay, yeah. So look at that. I let go of the controls, it's trimmed, it was very easy to trim as well. And look at that, it maintains the pitch just like it should.
Air Canada 878, climb flight level 250.
Oh, flight level 250, Air Canada 878. Set, 250 checked. So let's just do a little bit of experimenting over here. I'm gonna go a little bit like, let's say, 20 degrees bank left. And the nose pretty much stays, like it should. Now the same to the right. And that's quite good. Now let's go a little bit further. Let's do 30 degrees, because then the nose should start dropping. That it doesn't do. Okay. But hey, I'd say for a freeware aircraft, that's actually more than we can expect already. Okay, so let's fly ourselves right back onto the center line here. Overall, you can see I'm only doing aileron inputs here, no elevator inputs, and the plane reacts pretty fine. Like, even if I do the inputs a bit more aggressively, like this, you know, it does react fairly the way I would expect it to react. That's quite cool. That's really quite cool. Okay, so now we're on the center line again, so we do no longer need that timer because we have the ET running, and then we're about to reach flight level 100, where we are going to start the further acceleration. Now for the time being, let's see, maybe direct to SRAM? Will that make sense? Yeah, it would. Air Canada 878, any chance to proceed to direct SRAM? Okay, passing 10,000.
Dear guests, the use of approved electronic
Air Canada
devices
878,
is
negative
now
direct RAM.
permitted.
Proceed as filed via SUCSET.
Our cabin service.
Roger, as filed, Air Canada 878. So, for every 10 knots we accelerate, we should need approximately 1 second of trim. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Unfortunately, you can't see my trim switches moving here, so just have to believe me that that's about the amount that I'm trimming. and it does seem pretty alright.
Air Canada 878, climb flight level 290.
Dear guests,
Climbing flight level 290, Air Canada 878.
we invite you to enjoy our delicious poutine and refreshing.
Okay, that's actually looking pretty good.
Air Canada 878, Toronto to Toronto is not a valid flight plan. Please specify a different destination or clarify your request.
Disregard.
And enjoy the
No idea what the AI understood there. Okay,
Air Canada 878.
autopilot on. So the autopilot has seen quite some modifications as well. We're going to focus on testing those on our way into Toulouse. For the time being, I'd say the manual flight feels actually pretty cool. So that physics mod seems quite nice. Very first impression, of course. I will keep you updated as we are proceeding on with our flight. So for the time being, we're above 100, so lights are going off. And it's smooth, so the seatbelt signs can go off as well. Okay then guys, for now, sit back, relax and enjoy the flight with us. I'll get back to you when we start the approach into our destination. In the meantime, enjoy a beautiful sunset, enjoy a beautiful sunrise, and then I'll see you all on the other side of the Atlantic.
Canada 878. Heavy Blagnac approach identified. Good morning, cleared to lit transition. Expect the ILS Zulu runway 32 right approach into Blagnac.
ILS Zulu runway 32 right. Okay, our FO can do the readback. We are going to start setting our plane up for the approach. Now we are currently cleared down to flight level 80 and we are descending to reach that level, well, just prior to the airport with a bit of speed reduction, approximately abeam the airport. That should provide for a nice and easy descent down into the ILS for the ILS Zulu approach runway 32 right. Now let's go ahead and have a look into the arrival and our approach.
Allowed at this time. Thank you for your cooperation.
So, the latest Asus from Toulouse is information November, runway 32 left and right in use, wind 310 at 6, carb OK, 22 degrees, and QNH 1018 with a transition level in flight level 60. Localizer signal may be unreliable in the vicinity of the airport. We'll see. They are telling us to expect the ILS for the time being, so we'll just see about that. Now, our fuel is looking surprisingly well. I kinda expected that we would be burning a little bit more fuel than planned, but maybe the physics improvement mod has actually fixed the fuel usage as well. That would be splendid, but we are going to compare that when we're on the ground to see what we have actually used versus what we were planned to use. Okay, now that much about our approach preparation. Funnily enough, the Asus says that we are supposed to be carb OK, and this might actually be carb OK, because the cloud ceiling for carb OK, it just has to be in 5000, so if this is just a thin layer, even though it doesn't really look like it, but if the ceiling is above 5000, then this might very well be carb OK. Okay then, let's start slowing down to 250 knots, and then we'll start with the approach briefing as well, please. So, eventually it will end up in a radar vectored ILS approach, runway 32 right, and the approach is going to have a minimum of 747 feet. Go around straight ahead, left turn out, initially 4000, later 5000, and we've got extra fuel and time. 5.5 is the minimum, arriving with 9.2, so we got roughly, well, 100 kilos a minute, so half an hour of extra fuel on board. Okay, so the approach is going to be flown with flight director guidance and flaps 30 maximum reverse. Vacate the runway to the right hand side using auto brakes 3. Stop margin is going to be plenty. The runway is really long here in Toulouse, and we've got nothing special, nothing non-standard, and that's pretty much it. Okay, vertical speed. Threats for the arrival, to be honest, I don't see any. Any questions? Nope. Alright, then that's our approach briefing completed. 1000 to go. So the French do love their continuous descent approaches, so I am just going to start reducing the rate of descent here. 500 feet a minute should be fine. Okay, fuel should be on our left, and yeah, that might really be carb OK. We'll see, we'll see. Okay then. So, on our way out of Montreal, we tried manual flight with the physics and autopilot mod. Now we are going to try automatic flight all the way down onto the final approach. However, that doesn't mean that we can't ask ATC for radar vectoring. Air Canada 878, any chance for vectors and a shortcut on the approach?
Air Canada 878, I'll bring you back towards the airport in a moment. Turn right heading 160, vectors for the ILS runway 32 right approach.
Right heading 160, vectors for the ILS 32 right approach. Air Canada 878.
Heading select. Okay, I mean it's better than nothing. Let's see if the approach is going to be by any means as violent as the recent one we did on the A350, where they cut us short from a pretty high altitude. But this one definitely seems to be a little bit more relaxed. Okay, 14 degrees outside, entering some clouds, easy going. Okay, we do have alt capture, so no continuous descent, but we did what we could. If ATC doesn't clear us any further down, then there's not much we can do about it. Alright, we are still maintaining a flight level, so we got to delay the approach checklist a little bit. And that's pretty much it. So Probably time to drink the last bits of coffee, as it's been a long flight through the night. 6 hours and 37 in the air right now, so at this time we would have a duty time of, well, easily 8.5 hours already.
Air Canada 878, descend altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1017.
Descending to 5,000 feet, QNH 1017. Air Canada 878.
Set, 5,000 checked, set QNH. And QNH 1017 is cross-checked, passing 7,800 feet. Now, checked. Approach checklist. Altimeters, QNH 1017, approach checklist complete. Okay, I don't think we need to descend this quickly. Speed, vertical speed. He could turn us inbound at any moment, but I just don't want to really bust the continuous descent approach again. Let's do this. 700 feet a minute should be quite good. So he promised to turn us inbound. I sure hope he will, because where we are right now, it would even have been easier just to fly the published arrival. Okay, that glide slope is coming alive. Let's do 500 feet a minute again. Look at that, we're 20 miles out from the field already. Got a 25-mile ring down here. The thing is, there doesn't seem to be any traffic, just judging by the radios, so why is he vectoring us that far out? Air Canada 878, when can we expect the base turn?
Left heading 130, Air Canada 878.
Okay, heading 130.
Air Canada 878, extending downwind for sequencing. Turn left heading 125 vectors for the ILS runway 32 right approach.
Okay, heading 125.
Left heading 125 for the ILS runway 32 right approach. Air Canada 878.
Sequencing. Okay. Just where is the traffic he's trying to sequence us from?
Air Canada 878, descend altitude 4,000 feet.
Descending to 4,000 feet.
Set.
Air Canada
4,000
878.
checked. Okay, we're getting into the area where the MSA is going to start to matter. 3,000 is the MSA, 25 around Toulouse
Air
BOR.
Canada 878. Heavy, descend altitude 4,000 feet. Turn left heading 045, speed below 230 knots.
Descending to 4,000 feet, turning left heading 045, speed below 230 knots. Air Canada 878, heavy.
Okay, heading 045, speed 230.
Air Canada 878, descend altitude 3,000 feet.
Descending to 3,000 feet. Air Canada
Set.
878.
3,000 checked. Okay, I can't really find any grid more there on the chart. Should have been there.
Ryanair 31 Victor Zulu.
But looks like we are staying within the 25-mile ring, so 3,000 feet is our MSA in here. That's fine with me.
Ryanair 31 Victor Zulu. Good day.
Ah well, I hoped for a shortcut, now we're 10 miles further out.
Air Canada 878. Heavy, 14 miles from India Oscar 32 Romeo. Turn left heading 355, descend altitude 3,000 feet until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 32 right approach.
Left heading 355, descend 3,000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 32 right approach. Air Canada 878 heavy.
Okay, heading 355, cleared ILS. I'm going to wait until we're a little bit closer before I'm going to press the approach button. But something you can see over here is that they have really improved the approach vectoring, since we're now intercepting the approach at a lovely 30-degree angle. It's something that I talked about with the Say Intentions guys maybe a week ago, at least from the time that I intend to publish this video, and yeah, they've done it. Alright, the vector also leads us lovely onto the 10-mile final, so that's quite cool. So I'm going to maintain the 230 knots until we're at like 15 miles out or so, and then we can start reducing our speed. We're supposed to reach 3000 over here by the final fix, and looking at the range to altitude arc, that is working out pretty well. And we're only descending at a light rate of descent anyway, so that we can at all times easily just switch over to a speed reduction.
Foxtrot, Quebec, Juliet Delta, Oscar, contact Paris Control on 132.1.
Unfortunately, no VSD over here. That would be a lovely feature right now. You can go over to terrain on your side. And now we're close enough. We got the ident Tango Delta, which is correct. And approach armed. So we'll let the autopilot intercept the ILS. Once that is done, I'm going to disconnect the automatics and take over manually. 1000 to go. Checked. 5 miles from the Fox, I am going to start the speed reduction. The Fox is 7.5 miles out, so 180 knots over there will bring us into a pretty good position for the approach. And look at that, they didn't promise too much. The weather is actually okay now. Sure enough, it didn't look like that while we were on the downwind, but ain't gonna complain. Take that from a German. Okay, we'll start the speed reduction now. Flaps 1. Speed checked. So, a little bit of ballooning over here. And we have localizer capture. Flaps 5. Speed checked. Flaps 5. And look at that, the speed is coming back nicely, just like it should. That's fantastic. 2500. Terrain noted. Alt.
Air Canada 878, contact Blagnac Tower on 118.105.
Switching to Blagnac Tower on 118.105. Air Canada 878.
Okay, the lights are on, signs are on.
Blagnac Tower, Air Canada 878. Good morning, established on the ILS runway 32 right approach.
Air
So
Canada
runway heading
878.
set.
Heavy, Blagnac Tower. Roger. Continue approach.
Roger. Glide slope capture. Initial go around altitude set. And gear down, flaps 20. Okay, and then let's take over and have some fun. So, manual flight, manual thrust.
Air Canada 878. Heavy, runway 32 right, wind 310 at 6. Clears to land.
Clear to land, runway 32 right. Air Canada 878, heavy.
Okay, flaps 30. Speed check, flaps 30. And the speed down to VRF plus 5. Okay, lights are all on. Landing checklist. Why is it not recording the flaps? We do have flap 30 down there. Okay, I don't care. Item override, that's the landing checklist complete, because the flaps are in 30. So let's take in some of those marvelous views here, and also the light shining in from behind. It's looking fantastic, isn't it? I would love to go to the outside view right now, but the simulator recently seems to have some trouble that when I do that, the VRAM spikes, which then kills the video recorder. For that reason, I am surely going to stay inside here.
Airbus 15 Charlie uniform, contact departure.
So, she flies pretty lovely. I can simply keep my thrust steady over here, that keeps her on speed. Some occasional corrections are required to maintain the glide slope. But that's quite expected. So, the landing physics are one of the things that they say they have improved with a mod. Continue. So let's see how that landing is gonna go. I'm gonna attempt to flare her at 30 feet. Well, that was easy. Hey, why am I not getting reverse? Okay, here we go. Speed brake up, thrust was normal.
900 meters remaining.
80 knots. And 60 knots.
600 remaining.
Okay, manual brakes. Auto brake.
300
Alright,
remaining.
then we'll be vacating at the end.
30 remaining.
Yeah, that's a bit more than 30.
$30 meters remaining.
Yeah, that sounds more like it. Okay, and here we are.
Air Canada 878. Welcome to Blagnac. Exit at November 6th if able. Contact ground on 121.905.
Exiting at November 6th if able. Switching to ground on 121.905. Air Canada 878.
Okay, we call it November 8. So that's only factory on the left, so
Air
we'll be
Canada
going off to the
878.
right.
Good morning. Cleared of runway. Ready to taxi to the gate.
Air Canada 878, Blagnac ground, taxi to gate U11 via November 8, Papa Niner 0, Papa 65, Papa 60, Papa 55, Tango 55. Good day.
Alrighty. So you can read that back, I'm not gonna bother.
Gate uniform 11. November 8, Papa Niner 0, Papa 65, Papa 60, Papa 55, Tango 55. Air Canada 878.
Alright, so let's try and see where that actually is.
Did you know that Toulouse is known as the Pink City due to the terracotta buildings that give the city?
So we're currently on Papa.
Thank you.
Then the one is by Tango 55, so that's here. So behind the first terminal building. And let's try and find that gate. Uniform 11 is here in the corner. Okay, so Tango, continue on Papa, Tango 55 into the corner. Alright, that sounds doable. Uniform 11, no follow me, handling by Avia partner. Thank you. Okay, start APU. So, look at how she is nicely accelerating on idle thrust. Kinda exactly what I would expect from an engine with a high bypass ratio as the engine on the 787. Probably also part of the physics mod. I don't recall it doing that earlier. Okay, so we're looking for uniform 1-1. So that's the right of the two. Okay, one more thing that I do want to try. Shutdown 2. Okay, lights off. So I just used a little bit of extra thrust here. Let's see what's gonna happen when I keep the engine in idle. But I think this is not going to be enough. So it looks like we do need a bit of thrust. So the marshal is in sight. And stop. Okay. Park and brake set, APU running, shutdown. Cabin crew, all doors and park. And here we are. External power is available, then the APU is coming off. Flight director's off, squawk machine off. And 2000 is selected anyway. So the engine is below 20%, beacon off. And then we can request deboarding, and at the same time, let's go ahead and do the shutdown checklist. Which is park and brake, set, shutdown checklist complete. Alright, so let's ask the important question. Fuel used has reset itself. Oh god. Okay, we started at 43, we're there at 8.4. So what's that? 30. We used 34.6. So let's go ahead and get out the flight plan. We're supposed to use 34. So we used 600 more, but that can certainly be explained with the vectoring that we got. And the fact that I did the step climb a little bit later than planned. So overall, I would say the physics mod has really done something about the fuel consumption as well over here. So yeah guys, there you have it. That's our first flight in the physics mod for the Horizon Sim Boeing 787. Thank you so much for flying along. I do hope you all have enjoyed it as much as I did. As always, leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video, like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. If you're looking for the mod, I am of course going to link it down in the video description below. Thank you very much, and I look forward to see you all again on the next one.